Good morning. My name is Brad Williams. I'm with the closing guys here. Hope you guys are all enjoying the food. The lunch was sponsored by our home inspection company called Exceptional Home Inspections. We'll touch on that at the very end, how you guys can get in contact with that business, and we'd love to help you out. I want to thank my awesome team here, my wife, who is an integral part of our team, marketing and everything else, and delivering lunch today. I love to feed people. I think I got a little bit of that from my mother. So, and the other guy running around.
That appeals to every room, right?
Well, I think it appeals to everybody. I love to eat. I like to be fed. I grew up in a household where my mom cooked a lot, and she, if it was 3 of us eating, we had like 2 casseroles. It was enough for an army. So, I think I kind of gathered a little bit of that liking to feed people. The other guy walking around is my dad. He is our other partner in this business. So I'll get a little bit into our background, but first I want to talk about you guys. I know you guys only want to hear about me so much. Ask you a question. Who do you want to be in relation to real estate? In relation to how your clients see you? You ever thought about that? Who do you want to be? I'm guessing deep down that every single one of you somewhere in the back of your mind wants to be the hero for your clients. Whether it's helping them find the right house, negotiate the right deal, get in their dream home, find the investment property, maybe buy their first home. But you want to be that connector that really solves their problems. I have to imagine that deep down everybody wants that. So I guess my question to that is, if you want to be the hero, what's standing in your way? Any thoughts? I would love feedback during this, a small group here.
Knowledge.
My total infrared body shield.
I think one of the biggest things standing in your way is, like she said, I think it relates to knowledge, is being able to make people comfortable, make them confident. And I think maybe it's a misrepresentation of how it could really work for best results. And what do I mean is instead of being the single hero, I think the biggest thing standing in your way is not having the right team around you. And that team starts here. I know you guys have lots of resources, great office, great company to work for. But what I'm talking about is the rest of the professionals that are required to get to the finish line. I think that if you start thinking of how can I be a hero with my team, we all remember William Wallace, right? Braveheart. You guys seen the movie Braveheart, right? William Wallace. Well, he wasn't successful out fighting by himself. He was successful because he had the right army behind him who believed in what he did. And I think the team that you put together is a big part of success. And that's really what we believe at Closing Guys. That with the right team, the right professionals, sharing the right knowledge, that you guys can give a fantastic client experience and move through deals, get to that finish line with less stress. So before we go on, I want to share a short video with you that we made. I also believe real heavily in video.
Hi, I'm Brad Williams, co-founder of The Closing Guys, and we want you to know exactly what we believe.
We believe not having video for your business is no longer an option.
We believe the best realtors care more about their clients than the sale.
We believe teaching is more effective than just telling.
And you should never stop learning. We believe paying for leads is a ripoff and selling them should be a crime.
We believe that a job done right is more important than making a profit.
We believe cheap repairs cost more in the long run. And we believe quality is worth paying for.
We believe your reputation is your most valuable asset.
We believe that integrity still matters.
We believe in giving value first. We believe automated telemarketing is a crime.
We believe that people do business with people and not companies.
We believe content that tells a story is a powerful tool.
We believe that if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then video is priceless.
And we believe you can achieve great video content without breaking the bank. We believe that not every service provider is created equal.
And we also believe not every realtor is created equal. We believe that not every realtor and service pro for that matter are a great fit for us. Therefore, we only believe in doing business with people and companies who care about their clients.
We believe that social media is probably evil, but also necessary when marketing your business.
We believe that your story is powerful, and we want to help you tell it.
We still believe in the importance of a handshake. We believe it's never too late in life to find your passion and enjoy what you do.
We believe in old school, but even old dogs can learn new tricks.
We believe that nice guys and girls should finish first.
We believe
We
believe in small business,
our clients are a part of our family.
and family comes first. We believe that together,
we can change the real estate process.
For the better. Here at The Closing Guys, we are passionate about helping the good guys tell their story and share their knowledge.
you are our team, our family, and we appreciate you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
That was moving, I'm telling you.
Well, we want you guys to be a part of our team. You know, we know that your goal is to get to the finish line, you know, close the deal, see that end date. But we also know to get there, connecting with the right professionals are important. And we want to help be a conduit for you. And not just the right professionals, but each one of those professionals, whether it's the attorney, the pest inspector, the home inspector, the appraiser, they all have an inherent piece of knowledge that, if relayed to the client in the right media, in the right format, can make the client feel confident in what they're doing and be able to move to that process. So that's a lot of what we're about. Our background, just real quick, is Dad and I have been in the building business and the real estate business all of my life and most of his life. We built custom homes, we've done development deals. Now we run a home inspection company. We started this because we saw a problem and we wanted to help. We started this last year. So one of the problems, we're talking about problems. We want to kind of hone in here, right? This is about home inspection today. How can you beat a home inspection? I'm rambling about things I believe in and all. But one of the problems that we saw, so we came into this inspection business and we started inspecting houses for people, is people were going through lots of stress during the due diligence process. Massive amount of things that need to be done, crammed into a short amount of time. People are shelling out cash and they're nervous. They're nervous whether they made the right decision. Was it a foolish decision to buy this house at this price? Can I afford it? What will this house cost me over the next 10 years, 20 years that I live there? Is it a bad investment? Will I get my money back? And there's several stresses in due diligence. One is time constraints. What's the average due diligence? 30 days still? Less? 45?
Due diligence? Yeah, probably, in our case, all we're seeing is about 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's a lot of stuff to get done in 3 weeks. So, you imagine, you're trying to get the appraisal done, trying to make sure that they can get the loan on it. The home inspection comes in. Then what happens? You need 3 more people to come in, and you got to fix things. It's a stressful thing. The cost. People are spending money during this period of time. And then, as I touched on before, client fear. So, am I making the right decision? I think the apex of that is the home inspection. It's the time when their purchase is evaluated and when they're told whether or not how they saw that house. Is it through those rosy-colored lenses, or did they really see what they were buying? What's this guy going to come back with? And I don't know if you guys find home inspection stressful sometimes? Does it depend on the inspector?
Yes.
Maybe the client? So that's what we're here today. Go ahead.
Just so we pause real quick, because you might be able to shed some light on it, or some of my fellow agents here. It really depends on how they interpret the inspection.
Right.
Like, we're familiar with it.
Right.
So we're looking at, oh, that's nothing. They're like, oh my God, what's this? How do you do that? I mean, how do you convey to them that this is really not a big deal and it has resolved, we can fix it, but they're still freaking out like it's a deal breaker, because people have their fears and their perception kind of overrides anything you're saying. How do you deal with that?
Right. So the short answer is who you have explaining it and how they're explaining it, how they convey that information. The long answer is being armed with some of the same knowledge yourself. You know, I'd love to believe all home inspectors did a fantastic job of doing exactly what you said. We know that's not true. But I think if you're armed with the knowledge yourself, you know, that's some of the places we want to pick up with resources, and you can give them information that helps them understand, you know, from whoever, whatever that professional is. So say it's a plumbing problem, for a plumber to be able to explain to them, no big deal, this is a couple $100 to fix, it's not really that big a deal, or, you know, this thing is, maybe sounds strong, but it's not. So it's all in the delivery. I mean, does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. Any other questions before we go on?
I also think to Clarence's point that if you can start, before you ever hit the contract, if you can explain to them that the home inspection kind of looks like this and you can expect to see things,
Yeah.
you know, and it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, this is all just part of the process. It's a handmade product, you know, so there's gonna be imperfections.
You really touched on something that's so important, and that's setting expectations. We're not actually covering that in today's talk, but it's a big thing that we want to put together resources for. I hope in the near future we're actually going to have something for you guys specifically that would allow you to have a database of resources exclusively for you guys, that where you could have those pros explain to them what to expect going in the process, so they can be armed with that knowledge and confidence. So
even if you give them like, these are the top 10 things that are gonna come up on a home inspection. Like,
Right.
You're not the only house on the block that has this on it. Every other house has an anti-tip device that's not installed.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you can set that expectation.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah, expectations are everything. I had a guy tell me last week, he actually was with one of your sister companies, and he said, I found that those expectations are everything. If you tell somebody ahead of time, this is gonna stink, this next part's gonna stink, when it stinks, they're like, oh yeah, you said that was gonna be not much fun,
Yeah.
no big deal. So, great input. So coming to the home inspection time, this is just a short video we made. Again, I'm real big in sharing things on video. This is about a chimney. This is just an example of some of the kind of content, just because I love to share videos and be on screen. So
This is also a point of moisture penetration too. Crowns need to be addressed and maintained like any other item. And when they become cracked and aged, moisture can seep right in through here and get down in. And that is another way, as the moisture comes into the brick is porous, so it breathes the moisture, it goes down in it, and then it can bleed back out into the framing or down into the house below. So it's an important part of an inspection to see what's going on with a chimney crown. So maybe your inspector doesn't get there. This is a pretty easy one to check, but a lot of times you need to call a chimney specialist in this case to make sure the crown is in good shape, because this is a huge point of moisture penetration. So anytime you see black and or moss growing on the outside of the chimney, that is a sign that moisture has been getting in the top and then is seeping back out the sides, and therefore that algae and moss growth is happening.
So that's just a quick thing. We actually did an interview yesterday, if you guys want to check it out, with a chimney sweep, and he explains all kinds of things about chimney maintenance that you might find helpful and be able to share with your clients. And we'll talk a little bit later about some of those resources we have. But just like we were just talking about here, the key is in the preparation and the expectations. You guys do that on the very front end, setting expectations. But I also think to give your clients value, they need to get to the inspection and be able to get the most out of it. I think there's nothing more disconcerting than getting to a home inspection and the inspector saying, well, I couldn't inspect this and this and this and this. Water was off, I couldn't do this. You know, I couldn't get over to this thing, I didn't have access. You know, some people, their houses are very difficult to inspect on the interior. But you catch them during the right phase of moving, boxes stacked up everywhere. You know, it limits it. And maybe those places weren't a big deal, but you're a nervous home buyer, first time home buyer, and the inspection report reads limitation, 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 I couldn't get here. It's kind of scary. So I think there's a few things you can do in preparation, and you guys seem like really savvy agents. So maybe I'm gonna go through a bunch of stuff and you're gonna be like, I knew all that. I guess my next question is, if you know everything I'm telling you, are you doing it? Are you walking through it? Do you have a process so that you have going through that well prepared? I want to talk to you about how to prepare for a home inspection like a pro. I just touched on this, but in North Carolina, just to kind of give you guys a little context, you may already know this, home inspections are kind of done from a point of limitation. So as an inspector, what we're trained to do is we inspect what we can see, everything we can see, everything that's easy to operate, and then if we can't, we just state a limitation. And so I think it's important to understand that it's not the home inspector's job to overcome those limitations. So crawl space door is bolted shut, and there's no key, he's not getting in the crawl space. You know, the only attic access is in a closet that is jammed full of stuff top to bottom. Now you might find a home inspector who's like, you know what, I'll move all these people's stuff and put it back. But I gotta tell you, probably not, you know? So it's from a place of limitations. And I think here the goal would be is reduce the limitations. You know, reduce the limitations, make sure the inspector can do it. That's what we're gonna talk about today. So 4 key points to getting the most out of a home inspection, really preparing like a pro and acing that home inspection. First thing is utilities, access, scheduling, and attendance. And I think attendance is right up there for all the reasons that we've already talked about. So, man, this must seem really basic. I'm only putting this on here just to let you guys know because I walk into a whole lot of houses and the utilities are off. Water's off, electricity's off. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we've been asked over the years, will you flip this on or turn this on? And my insurance tells me I better not do that. They won't cover me if I start flipping things on. I'm told not to flip things on. So it's a big deal. So water, make sure the water's on. This is especially true maybe in bank-owned homes, homes that have been vacant a long time. Make sure the water's on.
Right, just gotta go through and tell why we wouldn't turn those on, things that can happen.
Sure. Sometimes breakers are turned off because of electrical fire hazards. There's something wrong with the appliance on the other side. In the example of like an electric water heater, I don't really have any way to know for sure is it filled up. So let's say I flip on the electric breaker for the electric water heater and it's not filled up. Those elements burn out. And who are they going to ask to fix it? So we run into that kind of thing. Anything that's been winterized can be a real issue. What am I missing over here? I know you got something on your brain back there.
That's, I mean, I think.
You can come up.
Gas logs.
Gas logs, that's a big thing. You know, the nice thing about gas logs, a little tidbit is the gas company will come turn those on for people. Something you do want to think about though, with gas logs is how old the gas logs are. I actually learned something new in our interview yesterday. That's what's so great about our pro show, is that gas logs are really only have a service life of about 10 years. Then they start to break down. So maybe they start off-gassing things and they're no longer safe. So I can't tell you how many times you see gas logs that are 30, 35 years old in a house and they're like burnt to a crisp. That's really something that they should consider having replaced. Second thing is a chimney sweep's not gonna mess with the gas logs. So don't hire the chimney guy and come out and say, I need my gas logs looked at. You're gonna waste some time and money. That's something that the gas company can refer you to somebody if you don't have a fireplace specialist. Chimney sweep's gonna work on the chimney, the crown. He's gonna get around on there. He can maintenance it, he can clean it, and he can repair any kind of fire hazard around it. Gas and propane. Another thing that if you see turned off, if the gas is turned off, can't operate heat. Sometimes you can't operate water heaters, fireplaces. You know, when you look at a house, what are the 2 things that cost the most that are most often replaced?
HVAC in the room.
There you go. I'm gonna give you some free for answering that.
I'm dealing with that.
If the gas is off, we can't test the furnace. Let me tell you what, furnaces are dangerous and expensive. And of course, winterized appliances. Those really get into a situation where you can tear stuff up when we don't de-winterize houses at an inspection. So coming in with these things turns on reduces limitation. Yeah, we can still look at a lot of things if the gas or water's off, but you're not gonna run a faucet. I run into faucets all the time that have leaky valves. And I don't know, I mean, some people are like, that's no big deal. Well, somebody's gonna be like, that's a big deal. You know, I turn on my shower and it's pouring more out of the valve than it is out of the shower head. This is a big deal. Or my tub won't work. You know, or I don't know how well the drains work. Drains are expensive. You get into older houses, we run into slow drains that have problems all the time. So having utilities turned on makes a really big difference. And again, I know this is so basic, but it can really make for a better job to have that done. Access to inspect. This is another thing that inspectors run into all the time is access. Garage. Stacked, floor, the ceiling, every wall. Well, it's not just the home inspector. You know, maybe the walls of a garage aren't a big deal to a home inspector, but you know they are a big deal to? Your pest inspector. That's the number one spot for termites to come in because the distance between for them to get in around the block into the base of those walls is the smallest. So garages are a really big deal to pest inspections, and if they can't get to the wall to sound it, to tap it, to look for evidence, and I'm gonna tell you what, a great pest inspector can find things that are just, you couldn't see with your naked eye, you know, because they do it all the time. But if they don't have access, they can't do it. Attic access, I mentioned this earlier, this is like the second most common, maybe the most common thing with access in the house is, you know, older houses, small attic accesses, they're in like hall closets, bedroom closets. And people use those closets to store everything, you know. Not only would we have a tough time getting around the shelf that's installed in the way because they never intended anybody to get up there, but they're stacked floor to ceiling. So if you can give the inspector access, the attic is the second most likely place in a home to find defects. Who knows what the most likely place? Or crawl space, absolutely, crawl space. So, but the attic that's where we really do find the leaks most of the time. I mean, yeah, sometimes you see spots on ceilings and all that, but the attic's where we verify that it's still going on, that we actually find the damage. You know, chimneys, what percentage of chimneys leak, Dad, around the chimney? We figured out that it's
Most of it.
most.
80% probably.
Most. You want your inspector looking around. Is it just a little bit of staining that's been fixed, or is it like rotted out around the chimney? And if you can't get to the attic, you can't do that. Crawl and basement. This doesn't happen as often with crawl spaces. Usually we can get in, but sometimes you do run into people put padlocks on crawl space doors. If you hire us, sometimes, every once in a while, we pulled some hinges off doors to get in if we think it's a really big deal, but you just can't count on your inspector to start taking things apart. And they're certainly not going to clip padlocks. We don't bring bolt cutters to the inspection. So, crawl and basement, number one place that you're going to find issues in a house. We've been in houses that are perfect. You can't find hardly more than a loose receptacle, a door that drags, get into the crawl space, rotted out, major mold, sewage leaks, you know, completely deteriorated water heaters, and none of that is visible unless they can get into the crawl. So having crawl access, basement access is so paramount. And then the water heater. So, you know, we like to get around the water heater and really check it out. If it's in a garage or a basement, and again, they have stuff stored all around it, or they've built permanent shelving, we see it in the garage, you know, the water heater sits here in the corner, and they've built shelves all around it and stack every bit of belongings that they have that would fit in the house around it. We can't see the condition of the tank. We can't tell if it's leaking, and water heaters go bad like every 10 to 12 years. I mean, yeah, we've all seen the 50-year-old water heater, but most of them don't operate safely that long, and they have leaks, they have corrosion. We want to check the flue. You know, nobody wants carbon monoxide in their house. So again, I'm not trying to be like a fear monger. I'm just kind of giving you an idea of why this access is so important. And then electrical panels. So part of a home inspection, if you didn't know, is to remove main electrical panels. We actually pull the covers off, and we kind of check up on the wiring. Did they do anything real blatant? Is there some fire hazards back here? Do the wires match the breakers? Is it all kind of hooked up right? Well, again, if there is, you know, gas tank storage, shelves built in front of that electrical panel, for an electrical panel to be safe to take off, you need a 3x3 area with a nice dry floor to safely remove that. It's like the most dangerous thing we do as a home inspector is removing these electrical panels. But again, we see a lot of defects in them, especially the older the house.
I know there are a couple of brand electrical panels that
Yeah.
inspectors won't inspect anymore
Right,
because of the safety issues.
right.
And my question, and maybe my question is to the whole room, is should we be flagging something like that as a material fact if we know that that's an electrical panel, that an inspector's gonna come out and say,
Yes.
no, I'm not checking this one.
Yeah, so there's a list, and I think that's a great idea. In fact, I think we'll put together a little video for you guys, so that you have something to remember. The names you want to remember are Zinsco, Stablock, Kearney, Kearney or NY. Stablock, Kearney. Stablock panels are really dangerous. You see them a lot of times on interiors of houses, and they're like small distribution panels. Real dangerous. They need to be replaced. So you run into most of these, and most of them should be replaced. They weren't putting in Zinsco panels in the last, so that's 40 years ago. Those things have all deteriorated at this point. I mean, we rarely run across a Zinsco panel that's not up to be replaced. So here's what needs to happen with that. An electrician has to come out, unfortunately. Power company's not gonna replace anything because you, the realtor, say, there's a Zinsco panel. They're like, what's wrong with it? So you get an electrician to come out and list what's wrong with it. But then the power company, because a lot of those things are on the outsides of houses, you have the overhead power and they're attached to the meter. That's the property of the power company, which means it's their responsibility to upgrade and make safe. So that's the best way to go about it. If you guys run into a house, and the way you can tell the Zinsco panels, that's why I want to put it in a video so you can see it, is they have the horizontal breaker bars and they're all either like gray, green, or black. And the problem is the way they're mounted in there, they kind of sit on this thing they just slide onto and they get loose, so they corrode across the back side of them. So when you try to pull them as an inspector to inspect, things fall out, you get arcing. Real good way for us to get electrocuted. You guys don't want to electrocute your home inspector, right?
Please don't.
Now, what were the names? It was Zinsco, Kearney.
Zinsco, Kearney, Stablock, and then there's another brand that was a subsidiary that used Zinsco patents. Do you remember what it is? I will put it in my video. So give us 30, 45 days, and we'll put together a little resource about dangerous electrical panels.
So is it Federal, Stablock, and then?
Yeah, Federal Pacific. Thank you. So again, this may be obvious. I understand things are happening, and I know everybody's kind of got their own modality of how they like to go about things, the order they like to do in things. My advice to you is, because the nature of a home inspection, because more times than not, the home inspector is going to say, this has a problem, call an HVAC guy. This has a problem, call an electrician. This has a problem, call a plumber. This roof looks old, call a roofer. We try to give more detail than that, but not all home inspectors do. You know, I've heard here recently, again, by somebody in the real estate world, that one of the biggest issues is that home inspectors writing vague comments on their reports, and agents not really knowing how to deal with that. And so you've hired the home inspector out there, and all he's told you is to call more people without any other information or direction. That's frustrating, I imagine. So the best thing you can do, and there's two things, and I want to do another class on, we don't have time to do it today. One, I think agents should be doing a 15 to 20 minute inspection, maybe even as the house is going under contract, as close to or before that time. And I would like to train you guys on how to do a 20-minute inspection to cover those 3 to 5 really big things that you know for sure you're going to have to get another professional out for.
What are you having in class?
Soon. It's on my list. I've got a lot to do, but
We'll
yeah.
talk to Jessica and we'll get it set up for you guys.
I'll come whenever
Right,
you
you'll help me
say.
tell Jessica when you get that
Yeah.
set up for the next month.
I'll
Yeah.
come whenever you say you want to have a class.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, so I would love to do that, because I really think that if you guys could go into it and just, all right, man, we know this is a problem, this is a problem every single time. These are like the obvious
That will make me
things.
look good with my clients. I like that. I mean, you know.
And if you look good, that's what we wanna make sure you guys are taking.
Yeah.
I mean,
Why wait for the home inspector to come out and tell you a foregone conclusion?
And then you're prepared as well,
Exactly,
you know.
exactly. So do the home inspection early in the due diligence, if you can. The sooner, because so many times we're gonna run into things that even at a very minimum, if they do a great job telling you about what's wrong with the roof, then what's the next question the buyer asks?
how much?
How much does it cost? We can't give that on a conversation. And we'll get to this here at the end in a second. We can say some things that we can't put on a report, but in a report, we can't put that. There may have been a time that inspectors put numbers in all their reports. They can't do that anymore. So doing it early on allows you to have the time to get those numbers on the back. Again, maybe simple. And this is another little trick I learned from a pest inspector and that we see in the field all the time. If you can overlap the home inspection with the pest inspection, you get an extra set of eyes. And if those guys can talk, you get more value for your money because they share information. Pest inspectors say, hey, I saw this and this and this. And so when I go in the crawl space at the end, I'm looking for that and that and that. And the whole thing is say the home inspector comes in and he doesn't see what the pest inspector sees, right? And there's some damage in the crawl. Well, the pest inspector doesn't tell you how much damage, right? He just says, there's termite damage. So the next question is, well, what all's messed up? What has to be replaced? Wouldn't it be great if you just, instead of having extra trips, the home inspector comes in right behind him and starts probing around and says, I think this much is damaged. So that's one of the benefits to that. If you're not, you may all be doing that already. You might be like, that's obvious. But if you're not, we know agents that actually don't want to do that. In fact, I've heard it said, we don't want to spend our clients' money on a pest inspection until we get the home inspection report. I'm telling you, it's only $75. I'd do it. That's just my opinion.
I don't have time to go 3 times.
Exactly. We're scheduling all at once.
So here's a question I know gets asked quite a bit. Who should attend the home inspection? Who should be there? There's mixed opinions about this, man. We've heard not everybody, and there are some really, really wonderful agents that do this really wrong, I think. And they do a great job of being an agent and taking care of their clients, but they do this wrong. So I'm gonna give you my recommendation, and you guys proceed how you want, but I think this is what's gonna get you the best result in the end, and it helps you overcome some of the problems. Should the client attend the home inspection? What do y'all think?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Buyer's agent.
Yes.
Okay. You guys are acing it. Should the seller be there?
No.
They wanna pay for it.
You know, I get it, man. You know, some people, they just don't want people tramping around their house and all that stuff. But man, do people not get as much for their money if the seller's following them around. And let me tell you what the biggest disservice is when the seller is standing there over listening to and commenting on the walkthrough.
Yeah.
Inspectors trying to share what they've seen. And the seller's like, that's no big deal, that's no big deal, that's no big deal, I fixed that, what are you talking about? Man, that kills things. And when to arrive. So definitely decline the buyer's agent, and here's why. This goes back to what you asked earlier. We can say things in the conversation that we can't put on our report. So the state says reports are DDID, description, description, determination, implication, and direction. All of our things have to be written out to this little script. There's a plug on the left wall of the room that is not functioning properly. Improperly functioning plugs can be fire and safety hazards. Call an electrician. The state says that's how we have to write reports if we don't want to get sued. What you can do though during the walkthrough is the inspector can explain things and maybe say, hey, this is no big deal. A lot of times plugs are this way, they all get loose. You just need to pull the cover off, tighten 2 screws up, and you're good to go. Oh, all this issue is, yes, the plugs aren't working right in the kitchen. What you need to do is replace 2 GFI receptacles, and that's it. So, or it's talk through the condition of a roof, or talk about what those scary things going on under the house, what the repairs are. There's water under the house. Well, some of them just freak out. Well, in a report, it's pretty black and white. The nice thing with the walkthrough is you can talk through that process, and inspectors maybe can say, you know, from what I've seen before, you know, this is kind of a price range. And you can get all this information in conversation and dialogue that you can't get on a report. Also, as an agent, it arms you to understand the problem as best as you can. And if you understand the problem, then you're going to be a lot better armed to negotiate with the seller than on what's on the report every single time. When to arrive, best thing you can do is give the inspectors a little bit of time to do their job. Give them 45 minutes, an hour, hour and a half, just to be with the house. Look, think about the house. You know, we all want, well, I can't speak for other inspectors, but I can think if I'm out of the house, if I'm doing a home inspection, we wanna talk with the client. We wanna be easing their fears the whole time. Well, I'm a man. I can't multitask, you know? I don't even task switch that well. So if I'm entertaining the client, trying my best to, answering their questions as we walk around, and inspecting the house, my attention is very divided. So give them time, but always be there. So, is that all, you guys think all that makes sense?
Yeah.
No objections?
No, because we normally do that. I mean,
Good.
Good.
So I think we actually already talked about this. Beating that vague report language, which I hear is a really big problem. Attend the walkthrough. Ask lots of questions. And I want to answer people's questions, but I may not know what they are. Your inspector might not know what those questions are if you don't ask. Ask lots of questions. Get armed with as much information as you can. Use the closing guys' resources. And then this one, take it or leave it, hire the right inspector. Not all inspectors are going to do a good job at this. You know, maybe some save you $50, but hire the guy who not only can find the issues and do the report and check off the box, but the one that you feel comfortable having a conversation with your client. It's your client, right? You don't want the inspector that either A, can't answer the question, or B, is a fear monger. I imagine. So hire the right inspector. So this is something I think that can make a big difference. Checklists are really great ways to go through something. They can feel rudimentary if it's something you do all the time. But you know, it's interesting. I always like to go back to the flight industry. You know, pilots fly the same plane over and over and over, the same destination over and over and over again. And yet they do a little checklist every single time before they take off. Things that they have memorized forwards and backwards. I'm sure they could read the checklist forward and backwards too without ever looking at it. But what that does is it creates consistency. So what we want to give to you guys today, this is something we wanted to make for you to make your life easier, is we've put together a checklist that goes over everything I've talked about today. How to hack the home inspection, how to beat the home inspection, if you will, and get the most out of it. Would you guys be interested in that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So 3 easy steps to get your checklist. Nikki, do you have the flyers?
They're right away.
So this is one way to do it. If you guys will take one and pass it around. Do you guys know what a QR code is?
Yeah.
So there's a QR code on there. That's the first way. You can just take a picture of that, scan it in, and it'll take you to the download site. Or if you're not somebody that likes to use those, I don't use them a whole lot. They're helpful. You just go to exceptionalhomeinspections.com/feature. Our home inspection company sponsored this checklist for you guys to have it. Free resource we want to give to you. We normally only give it to our clients and agents that are working with us, but you guys listen to me ramble today. So, exceptionalhomeinspections.com/feature. Once you're there, there is, I want to say there's a link right here on it. Is that link still there on the page?
Should be.
There's a link on the page. You can click there. This allows you to enter in our monthly drawing, and then we will send you the checklist. So we do like to give away things every month. I don't know what we're giving away this month yet. It was something, money, gift card, something to participate with us. But you give us your email. We'll send you a checklist. The reason I don't print them out is one, wouldn't really do you any good. If you have it digitally, you can make as many copies as you want. So we're gonna give you the digital file. Fill this thing out, name, email. We'd love to make sure to tag you with this office. Obviously, if you do it in the next little bit, I'll know. But if you put it off, and I might not know, I'd love to know what office you have to do with. If you want to give us your number, that would be great too. But yeah, name and email is what I have to have. So I wanted to give you that checklist, make your life easier if you didn't take all the notes today. Before we talk a little bit about some of the closing guys' resources, just some of the other things you can use to smooth out the process and do some things we talked about. Does anybody have any home inspection questions that I can answer?
I think I've noticed a lot of inspectors, they don't actually get on the roof anymore.
Right.
Is that all of them now, or just?
It's not really part of a home inspection now. You know, in our state, we're in kind of not walk the roof state. We base that roof to roof. So if it's a lower pitched roof and we try to get on it, we always try to get to the edge. Walking roofs is probably not something you're going to expect a home inspector to do most of the time. Just really depends on the house. When they get tall and they get steep, most are not. Huh?
And metal.
And metal. What a home inspector definitely should do, and they're gonna be able to tell most of the things they can tell, is one, get a view of every side. Two, get up to the edge. If you can get up to pretty much any edge, or maybe both sides of the house, you'll be able to get the idea of the shingle condition. But you get to those tall roofs, and if there are issues, roofer would have.
That's what Lauren's here to talk about too.
Oh, we got a roofer today.
Yeah, she'll be here to talk about that.
Perfect segue.
I'm sorry, I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
How long, like, you know, a lot of times I actually expect them to text me when they're done, and I see the time span. Like, I ask them, text me when you arrive, so I know when they got there, and then I ask them text, you know, when they're done, it's complete. And I see the time frame, you know, and sometimes depending on square footage house, you know, it might be 10, 15 minutes, but normally it's about an hour and 40 minutes.
Right.
What do you say is the proper amount of time, you know, or the average that you should be comfortable with?
Okay.
I expect to call you back in 30 minutes or something, you know, I'm feeling a little slighted, but I'm just saying, what's the standard, you know, time?
A lot of that really depends on what the inspector's finding. You know, if I'm looking at a house, and I hesitate to just give you an average, but to give you kind of a thought on this. I'm looking at a house that's 50 or 60 years old, and I start noticing a lot of issues. There's gonna be a lot of back and forth where I kind of look at something over here, then I'm gonna check it somewhere else. Access is a big difference. You know, if there is no crawl space, that's 30 minutes off an inspection. So you have a brand new slab house and the inspection is short, you shouldn't really be alarmed.
Okay.
You have a house that is 4,000 square foot on a crawl and the inspector's done 45 minutes. You might just say, did you get in the crawl?
Right.
Were you able to do that? Were you able to get in the attic? Because it seems like there's a lot to look at there. We team inspect. So everything that exceptional home inspections does is team inspected. So it is a faster process. In fact,
Very good, yeah.
the 1 in 10 that we don't team inspect, it's interesting, they take actually more than twice as long. But to give you an example, I did a small house that had issues about a week ago, and I spent 2.5 hours on it. And it was only like 1,300 or 1,400 square feet. So, whereas a new construction house, if you're on your own on a new construction, what do you think, an hour and a half or less?
Yeah.
Hour or a half.
So on new construction, we're just not gonna see nearly as much stuff to write about. Another tip on new construction.
But you'd be surprised, I mean, how much we do see on
No, yeah, it's just the time of inspection is usually a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So, yeah, when inspectors by themselves, they're gonna struggle to finish any house in under about an hour and a half. Unless it is really small, on a slab and brand new. Or there's no access to anything. So it's a really small house and it's a house, there's no attic access, no crawl access.
like a condo.
So yeah, condos normally would not take as long, but a house, one inspector, average size home, I would say a couple hours.
Do you think it's a good idea to do an inspection on new construction? I have one coming up in Greensboro.
Every time,
Every time?
every time.
How much do you think it should cost? Is it a difference? Because I mean, you know, they always ask you how much square footage so they can charge you a certain amount.
Sure.
So I'm
Sure.
asking, is the new construction home inspection supposed to be less or is it the same?
It shouldn't be any less.
Okay.
I will tell you what we do. Our home inspection business does give a discount for new construction. Simply because we believe in it strongly. We know a lot of people overlook it and we try to incentivize people to get that done.
One more and I'm done.
Yeah.
What are the top things you look for in construction, new construction? Like, you know, areas of the house, like what's the top?
The top things we see are things not complete.
Okay.
Damage to trusses,
Okay.
which you gotta have a pretty keen eye to see, huh?
Would that be from sitting in the weather or something?
No, that's usually from installation.
Is it? Okay.
And anytime you have a damaged or repaired truss, they wanna go ahead and get their engineer's letter now that says it's okay. It's usually not a problem. What it is down the road when they go to sell it, and then the next home inspector says, this truss is split in half, do you have an engineer's letter? Or this truss has been scabbed onto, do you have an engineer's letter? $500. Somebody's gonna want. Third thing is electrical issues. You would not believe how many brand new homes are not wired up right. Receptacles, faulty three-way switches, receptacle circuits that either don't work, wired backwards. I went in a new house not that long ago, and half the receptacles in the house were wired reverse. It was as if someone that had never done it before wired the whole house.
Wow.
So, you know, what the new construction inspection really is, the value, is the checklist. Most of the time, you know, I don't know you guys probably know these numbers better than I do, but the percentage of houses now that are new, that are built in production, is pretty high, right? That's most of new construction in neighborhoods where they're building the same thing over and over again. Those guys are trying to finish houses. You know, they're building in one neighborhood 10, 20, 30 at one time, right? So their incentive is to get it done. And to get that house closed, they will fix anything in a home inspection report. But they might argue with the client. Or they might just be passive with the client. Yeah, we'll get to that. We put it on a home inspection report, they come back through and they go check all those boxes off and get it done. And that's really what it's doing, is it's getting a proper punch list at the end.
And they want that clearance, by the way. That production builder wants that inspection report. They want it as soon as possible. Cause that's gonna be their guide to get it fixed.
So,
I think it's a good idea.
so here's the other thing that's real big on new construction is, you guys gotta stay all over those builders to make sure that the house is ready when they say it's gonna be ready. Cause they will let the inspector come out there and not one appliance is installed, so none of it can be operated, water's not on, electricity's not on, gas meter's not set. And we walk through and it's like, what can we do here? It's a brand new house, you know, it's not gonna have roof leaks, hopefully, yet. It's not gonna have the issues that happen after people live in the house yet, so make sure you stay on top of them. It might even be worth a trip or a phone call to the agent, or whoever the person is that handles the sales out there, get them to go to the house and confirm the day before the inspection that the house is ready. So that's a real big thing. The other thing that I'm gonna highly recommend is that you get those people set up for the inspector to come back out in 11 months. You get a 1-year warranty on a new house. Most inspectors will come back out for a reduced rate and give that second punch list once the house has been lived in, and the rest of the defects show.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Not looking at new construction, this is an existing
Sure.
home, and you've gotten, what do you suggest as far as re-inspect by the inspector if you have gotten copies of the invoices, say from HVAC and the different fixes that have been done?
Do I think re-inspections are a good idea?
When
Yes and no.
I'm saying, because an inspector can be, wear all hats and be an expert in like HVAC.
Yeah.
And if you've gotten HVAC people to come out and you have their invoice.
If you have a good person come out, that should be good enough. Here's my advice. Maybe I'm circling back around and not answering you directly. My advice is, let the buyer be in charge of who comes out.
Oh, well, they always ask the agent, or if that's my.
Instead of the seller.
Who do you recommend?
Let the buyer. That's why we made the closing guide, so you guys have a resource of people, because we know that they are like, well, who do you know?
Yeah.
But when the seller is responsible for repairs, and they're just trying to like get there.
Right.
And they might hire their buddy that does plumbing or HVAC, and he comes out and he'll just be like, it's fine. And that doesn't help anybody. So I really think the best thing you can do, this is just my opinion, if you can work towards a situation where you're getting some kind of room, some kind of negotiable, like negotiating the price, and then letting the buyer, or you and the buyer, be in charge of who comes out. Because like you said, the home inspector is not going to do a really great job of measuring HVAC repairs. Now, I can come back out and look at the repairs they did to the floor system and tell you whether they did a good job or not. But I still think buyers and buyers agents should be coordinating on the repairs and not relying on the seller. I mean,
So that's one thing that I think is important when we're doing a report where we refer to a licensed electrician, a licensed HVAC contractor. We're required to do that by the state, but that also gives you the assurance that you have a professional look at whatever it is to make sure that it gets done. And rather than just a handyman that does a whole list of things, you don't know whether that's done correct. So that's one of the reasons the state requires
That's
licensed.
what I always put on the due diligence repair request to be evaluated and repaired by licensed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And if you get a licensed person to come out, most of the time, you're gonna be all right. I think it's in those issues where it's the handyman type repairs, the structural floor system type repairs, water damage type stuff. We see a lot of Band-Aids done by sellers. And if you have us come back out, I'm gonna tell you that. And I know that's not gonna make anybody real happy. I hate being put in that situation when everybody's anxious to try to get things done. So best thing is, again, is kind of, does that help at all?
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm sorry, is this transportation committee?
No.
No, sir.
Do y'all know anybody else's meeting on this floor?
What floor is,
It's usually the third floor.
Okay.
We're on 5.
Yeah, you're on.
Oh, it's 5.
Yeah,
Oh, no wonder.
So I have exceeded my time.
you're welcome.
Let me just flip through these last couple slides real quick. I'll let you have some time. I know you guys want to hear about roofing. We do have a list. Our list is referred by agents only. We would love for you guys to refer your people on it, review, share. The idea is to provide a list that other professionals know and trust. Biggest thing about most lists, most websites is it's just pay to play. Anybody can join. Can you really trust the reviews? And the things I've heard about sources of reviews, it's hard to know what's right. But if you know a guy is happy to come out for realtors calls, wants to help, has experience, has made other people that you know professionally happy, we feel like there's more confidence now. This is just a free resource. We have a media hub. We have all these cool educational videos you can share with your clients to help ease some of the concerns. Whether it's about chimneys, great thing outlining radon system install, how testing's done, from experts that we think are the top in their field, and it's growing all the time. We do a weekly live show. Love for you guys to watch it, ask your questions live. So you're not just asking me in our experience, but we bring these professionals on and have them on live. You just have to get on with your phone, your tablet, your computer. You can ask your questions to all these people that are real knowledgeable in your field. Down here, this was a really good show we did with a mold expert. I know there's a lot of questions around mold. This was with a mortgage expert. We've got about, I think we've done 20 shows so far. So it's on iTunes. You can listen as a podcast after the fact. It is live on Facebook, and I'll show you that link. But all the videos get archived over here at this website. I'm gonna give you guys a card so you have our website. So please connect with us. We'd love to share our content with you. Everything I've talked about is something that we just want to help out. I just want to share resources and help you guys out. There's no catch, no cost. If you guys are sharing it with your clients, getting educated, then we've done our job with these videos. So Instagram, I post on there all kinds of interesting stuff from the Closing Guys, Facebook at the Closing Guys, and then on YouTube, we're starting to populate those videos too. We know I like to watch videos on YouTube, and instead of watching, sitcoms, I watch videos about houses. TheClosingGuys.com. Everything can be found there. So again, our home inspection company, now Closing Guys, sponsored the lunch. So I'm going to play a quick video so you guys a little bit about that, and then I will get out of your hair.
My name is Don Williams, and I'm a partner and exceptional home inspections with my son. About 5 years ago, my son and I decided to start inspecting homes. We got our license to do so, and we have been providing that service here in the Triad for that period of time.
You know, we wanted to start a home inspection business because we wanted to give people some of the value and expertise that we've gained over the years. One of the things that we feel like makes us different, that we bring to the table, is decades of construction experience. Don and I are both licensed general contractors in the state of North Carolina, as well as licensed home inspectors.
We understand how a home should operate, and I believe that brings a different perspective to the inspection process. In addition to the home inspections, we actually provide a water testing service and a radon testing service. We do pre-purchase home inspections, we do maintenance inspections, we do pre-marketing inspections.
Not only is a home inspection valuable from the point of view of getting an assessment of your home, but a home inspection can be a valuable negotiating tool. We often will work for clients who are involved in investment properties, and then they go take the report that we provide them and are able to negotiate prices that help them get the property for what makes sense for them the most.
Home inspectors, come with different backgrounds, different experience levels, and we believe that our experience sets us aside from all the rest. In addition to that, you have 2 inspectors really for the price of 1.
So what we can provide your client beyond just a good home inspection is the knowledge and experience that helps put them at ease and gives them a peace of mind of not only understanding what's going on with their home, but how they can address it and move forward and get to that finish line.
All right, thank you guys so much.
Uh,
I'll give you guys the card before the guys, so you can get over the site.